Thanks, Clive. Hello there. Good evening. Welcome to Monday's Look North on the programme this evening. A Yorkshire charity says some girls are avoiding school when they're on their periods because toilets are locked during lessons.
We need there to be exceptions for girls, especially when they're on their periods, because it would just allow them to have a more positive experience when they're in school.
Next tonight, there's calls for schools to do more to tackle the problem. Also this evening, could changes to the way government money is given out bring an end to the north-south divide? Scientists say they've discovered a powerful double weapon to prevent cancer patients losing hair during chemotherapy. And we meet Joe, the YouTube farmer, introducing a new audience to the world of agriculture.
And widely, it's going to be a much fresher day out there tomorrow with some heavy rain on the way. I'll have more details for you towards the end of the programme.
Hello there, thanks for joining us for the first Look North of the week. We're starting the programme talking about periods because girls have been missing school during their menstrual cycle because they're worried that they'll not be allowed to leave classrooms to use the toilet. That's what young people and a Leeds charity have told Look North. Freedom for Girls, which provides period products to schools, says students are worried about leaking if they're refused permission to use the bathroom. Here's our social affairs correspondent, Emma Glasby.
OK, shall we just get the tampons first?
A delivery of period products to a community centre in Leeds. Freedom for Girls hands out pads and tampons to groups and also schools to make sure everyone can get hold of them.
Excellent, thank you.
But Tina says some girls are still worried about going into school during their period.
They've been telling us that they're missing school because the toilets are locked during lesson times. So they are really embarrassed about asking to go to the toilet, and when they get refused they are really worried and they're not concentrating on their lessons because they're thinking that are they going to be leaking.
In Leeds we spoke to two teenagers who told us this is a big issue for girls right now.
Because my period be so heavy on the first day, second day, I wouldn't want to go into school because I just didn't want to go through that and then teacher tell me that I can't go, and then now I've had an incident, now I need to go home.
So have you missed school when you've been at the start of your period?
I have. I try not to, but I have, especially days where I knew it was super heavy, I'd try not go in.
One thing I think a lot of girls were made to feel like it's an inconvenience to the school. If there was a kinder environment where we knew we'd be supported throughout the day and the teachers would be understanding, then I think we'd all be a lot less resistant about going to school on our periods.
It has been a topic of debate at the Youth Parliament and a campaign issue for up-and-coming young politicians.
If you speak to many girls, in this area, they'll tell you, how much of a struggle it is. These measures are put in place because of either schools thinking that it will disrupt lessons or students will skip lessons and hide in the bathrooms. But I think just blanket banning it does not address the problem, it just creates more problems. And we need that understanding. We need there to be exceptions for girls, especially when they're on their periods, because it would just allow them to have a more positive experience when they're in school.
But individual schools can have very different policies. Wales High in Rotherham is a large school and has enough staff to ensure students can be escorted to toilets whenever they need a bathroom.
During lessons, we just want to make sure that they know the toilets are still there to access. They can always go. They just need to request a member of staff to come and get them. But it's discreet. Boys and girls can ask for a toilet request, and it's part of the culture. Students ask for it.
The Department for Education says it's for schools to decide when pupils take toilet breaks, but also told us it expects schools to be mindful of their duty of care responsibilities. Emma Glasby, BBC Look North.
Well, let's talk more about this with Dr. Zareen Ruhi Ahmed. She's the chair and founder of Gift Wellness, who fight for compassion when it comes to period dignity. I asked her how widespread the problem was when it comes to girls skipping class because they're on the period.
Imagine being denied a toilet break while bleeding. 70% of girls in the UK are reporting exactly that, and they're being told, oh, not now, you can do that during period time. That denial, it isn't just about discomfort, it's crippling attendance. 64% of girls aged 14 to 21 have missed part or all of a day of school during their period, and about 13% miss an entire day at least once a month. So it's bringing real attendance disruption, and that's affecting their academic achievement.
Do you have some sympathy with schools and their toilet policies? I'm a woman. I was a teenager, and often saying you were on your period was a good excuse to maybe get out of class. Now there's that added layer of children having mobile phones and maybe sneaking off to the toilet to look at messages. There's got to be some cut-off somewhere, hasn't there?
Absolutely, but this isn't some technological new thing that's come about that teachers need to deal with. This is a basic human right. And Amy, like real heavy crushing menstrual pains, it affects over half of teenage girls.
So what can schools do better to support girls who are on their periods?
So we're talking about the dignity, health and the education and future opportunities of almost 2 million girls in the UK. So, that's got to end now. It's toilet access, free products and real support in place. So real normalisation of the conversation, free accessible sanitary products in toilets. They've done it in Scotland, we can do it here, but we haven't got time to wait. We have to train teachers in menstrual health and embed it into RSHE and really stamp out the shame, the stigma, so that girls should never have to feel humiliated for bleeding naturally.
And for boys to learn about it as well as girls. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
OK, let's move on now to some other stories. A murder investigation is underway after a man died in Dewsbury over the weekend. Police were called to Crownless Park at around 8:15 on Saturday evening after reports that a man in his 30s had been stabbed. Officers say it followed an incident of disorder involving a group of males. 9 people have been arrested on suspicion of murder and remain in custody. A West Yorkshire police officer has been charged with a sexual offence while on duty. PC Jack Blagborough was 31, works in Kirklees area and is accused of sexual assault by touching. He's due before magistrates later this week and has been suspended from duty. Yorkshire Water has received more than 100 reports of people flouting the hosepipe ban. That's since restrictions came in on Friday after a drought was declared in the region. People who breach the ban could face a £1,000 fine. Yorkshire Water says it's seen a positive response over the weekend. Water usage dropped by around 100 million litres compared to the previous heatwave in June, and that equates to Hull's daily supply. Goodness, that is a lot, isn't it? Now, will government changes to the way money is handed out mean an end to the North-South divide? The Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, is changing the Treasury's Green Book. Now, that's the guidance on whether projects are value for money. It's been welcomed here, but critics say Labour is focusing too much on money for the North. Our political editor, James Vincent, can tell us more.
Look, no one is expecting you to know all about the Green Book. I've barely heard of it.
And that's kind of the point, the rules on whether the government should spend money on big projects, whether it's value for money to do so. Well, they're in the Treasury and they're kind of low profile.
In the past, the rules have been blamed for underinvestment in the north. Some claim that they were wired to show that building things in the south gets better financial returns.
But Labour is changing the rules.
Their version of the Green Book won't put as much weight on the benefit-cost ratios. They also want business cases to take into account the wider regeneration in an area, and they want the Green Book to be simplified and shortened.
We've been calling for this for years and years, to ask places in the north and small towns in the north to give economic returns at the same rate as London for public investment is being a nonsense and still is a nonsense. So having a recognition that you're going to get different rates of returns, you're going to get different benefits in different parts of the country is a real win for us.
The Conservatives have changed the Green Book as well in recent years. We asked them for their views on this change. They didn't get back to us.
One of the worst things Rishi Sunak did was to say he was going to take money from the north of England and give it to Tunbridge Wells. That's not what's happening here.
He also changed the Green Book to make it easier for northern places to get projects across the line. What are you changing in that Green Book, that technical document that nobody seems to quite understand? I'm sure you do. What is changing? What will change in that document?
Well, he said he was changing the document. The problem is that the decisions didn't change. So you didn't see the investment coming to the north of England or to the Midlands for that matter, or to Wales.
So what changes? What happens now?
So, I mean, it's technical. You obviously do need cost-benefit analysis of transport schemes, but what we can't have in a world is a system for doing that is biased against certain parts of the country, that only funnels money to parts of the country that are already successful. Because we all live in this country, we all deserve a public realm that functions. And just because somewhere has lower incomes today doesn't mean that's always the case. In fact, our policy should be to start turning that around.
Back up here, we'll be watching closely to see whether that actually happens.
This is evolution, not revolution. So it will become slightly easier to make the case for things that are going to have what we would call transformational benefit.
Looking at it from my point of view, trying to simplify it for my simple brain, there's maybe a little bit more wiggle room and a bit more sort of joined up thinking about what exactly a project might bring to a place, that's not in London.
Also policymakers with a clear focus and a much greater emphasis on the long-term payback to the taxpayer rather than short-term economic change, because it's going to take a long time to raise northern productivity, but that payback is far greater.
Explaining some of this stuff is half the battle, really. I hope I've done a half-decent job. Governments have talked about narrowing inequalities forever. We're still waiting, though.
It's the sort of thing that can get overlooked, isn't it? Decisions made hundreds of miles away down at the Treasury. But they do matter. They really matter here.
James Vincent, BBC Look North, Leeds.
Very well explained, I think there, James. Thank you. You are watching Monday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. Could a sale be imminent for troubled Sheffield Wednesday as the club is embargoed from the Football League amid a financial crisis? But before that, scientists in Sheffield say they've discovered a powerful double weapon in efforts to prevent cancer patients losing their hair during chemotherapy. Cold caps are currently used to prevent hair loss during treatment, but in combination with a new lotion containing antioxidants, scientists think it could be even more effective. The plan now is for the trial of the research to be done on cancer patients. Mark Hansel can explain more.
It was very aggressive, 13 rounds of chemotherapy.
Fiona Price from Pontefract was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer a year ago. The prospect of losing her hair because of the side effect of chemotherapy was a big worry. So Fiona wore a cold cap during treatment and she kept 80% of her hair.
Once I was diagnosed, it was one of the really things that hit me hard was the fact I was going to lose a lot of my hair, and I wanted to just put one foot in front of the other and get through, and for people to not necessarily know that I had cancer. I didn't want to walk down the street and for people to look at me and think, oh, look at her, she's got cancer. I didn't want that for me. I just felt like for me it was fight or flight, one foot in front of the other, get through, and I felt like I could still look like me and be me, and yeah, just get through, and I had to do it. I have got a little girl at home, my 1-year-old, and she was my drive.
Having proved that cold caps work, scientists at Sheffield Hallam University have made a breakthrough in the lab. Using antioxidant lotion on the hair underneath a cold cap is even more effective at stopping hair loss.
What we found by using hair follicles growing in the lab and treating them with chemotherapy drugs is that when we combine cooling with an antioxidant, we could completely protect them from the toxicity of chemotherapy. Not just reduce the toxicity, rescue them altogether, which is incredible.
The company funding the research is Paxman Scalp Cooling, which is based in Huddersfield. For Fiona, the prospect of cancer patients keeping their hair is a major step forward.
I think it's amazing. I've just been in the labs, and to see what he has done, and the discussions that you're all having is just absolutely amazing. And I think it would have meant that obviously I wouldn't have, well, hopefully would mean that I wouldn't have lost any hair on the top of my head. When the regrowth was coming back, there was bits there that I kind of had to tie my hair up for a long time to hide. I was using those hair fibres, which were amazing, but I wouldn't have had to have done that.
The next step following the lab-based discovery is to trial the research on humans. It could then help cancer patients everywhere keep their hair during chemo. Mark Ansell, BBC Look North, Sheffield.
Gosh, you can see how that would make a real difference to people, wouldn't it? A little bit more news now before we get to Sally and the sport. 3 Olympians who studied in Leeds were honoured today for their achievements and contributions to society. Leeds Beckett alumni Emily Campbell, who is Britain's most successful weightlifter, was honoured, alongside triathletes Alex Yee and Georgia Taylor-Brown. The Team GB trio returned to their former university to receive honorary doctorates. Emily was awarded for service to sports and advocacy for inclusion. Alex and Georgia were recognised for their achievements, including Olympic gold in Paris last year.
I didn't expect it. I was like, why am I getting emails from Leeds Beckett still? So yeah, no, it's super strange, but so special.
It's the university that I was an undergraduate. I did my sports and exercise science degree here. I have a lot of memories in Leeds, and it definitely shaped me to be one of the people that I am today. So it's very nice to be back here.
Such a massive honour to receive this. Leeds Beckett is someone which means a lot to me. They gave me a chance actually, because I crashed during my A-level attempts, my second time, and yeah, they were actually the ones that gave me a chance to be able to come to university and actually give me a degree.
Oh, great to hear it, and well done to all of them. Time for sport now with Sally, and it's looking like a summer of turmoil, isn't it, for Sheffield Wednesday?
It certainly is, yes, Amy, yeah. With less than 30 days to go until the start of the new football season, Sheffield Wednesday is in crisis. Some player and staff wages haven't been paid for 2 months, meaning the club is under embargo from the English Football League, preventing them from signing any new players. Fans are calling for owner Dejphon Chansiri to sell the club, and it now looks like this could happen. But for Wednesday fans, it's been a summer of turmoil.
It's one of the oldest football clubs in the world.
Sheffield Wednesday were always a better side right from the word go here.
Goalman, Whittam!
We'd love to play entertaining football, but we also want to win.
Wednesday fans have been through a lot.
Arsenal have surely won the cup!
And Wednesday's Premiership days were over.
But this summer, things have reached boiling point. Since 2015, the club has been owned by Thai businessman Dejphon Chansiri, but cash flow problems mean some staff haven't been paid their full wages in May and June, leaving the Supporters Trust to step in. They've raised £5,000 with the intention of setting up a hardship fund.
I went into Club Shop a while ago. There was a lady behind the counter. I spoke to her, told them what we're trying to do, and she was in tears. And they're the people who are running the club. How bad's that? How shocking is that? How can that happen in this day and age where somebody has got people working for nothing and they're so upset because they feel part of the club? It's not just a job. They're probably Wednesday supporters who are working there. It's appalling.
The non-payment of wages means the EFL has placed Wednesday under a transfer embargo and put their pre-season preparations in peril. Last week, Sheffield East MP Clive Betts, himself a lifelong Owls fan, stood up in Parliament to back plans for a new independent football regulator.
Ultimately, the regulator will have a power that the league doesn't have, and that's to step in if they genuinely think that the club can't be run by its current owner, to put in trustees to run the club, because the club can only run in future with a regulator giving them a licence, and the regulator won't continue to give a licence to operate for an owner who simply hasn't got the money to fund the club going forward.
Fans want Chansiri to go, and now it looks like that could happen. It's believed an agreement's been reached with at least one prospective buyer.
Ultimately, you know, a sale is what's needed here, pretty clearly. That's what has to happen, a sale to a new ownership group or person or whoever it is, to push a fairly big reset button.
We approached the club for comment but haven't yet heard back. The return of manager Danny Röhl to training is a positive sign that things could be turning round for Wednesday. But there's no doubt preparations for the new season have been very far from ideal.
A fast-moving story, that, so keep tuned to BBC Radio Sheffield for the latest. Now on to Rugby League, and in the Women's Super League, York Valkyrie won a crucial 2 points after beating Lee 28-4. This opening try from Evie Sexton got the ball rolling at the LNER Stadium on Sunday night. A dominating performance followed in the second half, ending in victory. The win keeps the Valkyries third in the table. On to the Euros now, and the Lionesses, of course, continued their winning success over the weekend in Switzerland after booking their place in the quarter-finals. Now, the funeral of Premier League referee Uriah Rennie has taken place in Sheffield today. Hundreds of well-wishers were at Sheffield Cathedral to pay their respects to the trailblazer, who became the first ever black referee to oversee a Premier League game. Uriah died of cancer last month, aged 65. Lots of turnout for him. Great respect for Uriah.
Yeah, indeed. Thanks, Sal. And our thoughts with his friends and family today as well. Finally tonight, we are going to talk about social media and how farmers are using it to promote the industry to a whole new generation. Joe Seels here is a beef and arable farmer turned YouTuber from Doncaster. A few years ago, he started posting videos on TikTok for a little bit of fun, and now he gets over 1 million viewers a month. That's incredible, isn't it? He says it's important to get young people to think about a career in farming. Nicola Reese has been filming him, filming himself.
Hello, I'm Joe Seels. I'm a beef and arable farmer from South Yorkshire, but people might know me more from being on YouTube. Morning! Hello and welcome to my daily blog.
Every day for 3 years, Joe has filmed, edited and posted online a video about his work as a farmer.
So we're in the John Deere 6215. It's the highest horsepower tractor that we've got here on the farm, and we're going to go and do some grass work with him.
The videos started as a bit of fun and now get over 1 million views each month.
I'd just seen one of my friends had started using TikTok. So I thought, looks quite fun actually, I'll have a go.
That's the reality of farming. This is what you get the real deal here. You get me stalling tractors.
For Joe, it's much more than selfies and snapshots. It's a way to show people where their food comes from.
I think it's really important to be able to show agriculture just day to day, like let people in to the farm, and hopefully we can inspire some young people into getting into a job in agriculture. Showing the machinery is a big part of the YouTube channel. So today we've got the front mower on. The cows are all following us. They're very interested and intrigued as to what we're doing.
Farming fans love to see action from behind the scenes, and Joe films everything, which makes things tricky for me.
Right, so I've been sat in the tractor wheel here while Nicola lays down filming me. Which, yeah.
Are you relaxed down there?
It's all right, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm filming you, filming me.
Yeah, it's a weird sort of situation, isn't it?
Wait, come on.
This straight-talking farmer and his cows now have a solid fan base.
These guys are very inquisitive, the Aberdeen Angus. They're very interested in Nicola's bag there on the floor. I hope she likes cow slaver on it.
Joe's videos showcase the care and dedication that goes into raising his beef. Filming them adds to his workload, but he doesn't seem to mind.
I feel it's really important to be able to show people where the food comes from and also inspire the next generation. It's not really a job for me. I just love being here. There's nothing I'd prefer to do.
For Joe, it was never about the clicks or the likes, just the joy of sharing his passion for farming. Nicola Reese, BBC Look North, Doncaster.
Great job there by Nicola and by Joe. They make a good double act, don't they? Katerina's here now with the forecast. I'm sure farmers will be really pleased to see there was a little bit of rain this morning in York.
Yes, they want to see tomorrow because actually there's a large area of rain that's going to move in, and this rain potentially heavy, and there will be a few showers to follow. Again, these potentially heavy, and actually the risk of some thunder. But I'm just going to show you a few photos from today. This was sent in really early this morning. It was quite misty and murky along the coast, but you can see from the second photo here. It did brighten up quite nicely this afternoon. We had some good sunny spells around. There's still quite a bit of cloud, but you can see some lovely breaks there. And also I thought I'd give this picture a show off because we've had lots of sunflower photos in on the Weather Watchers page as well. So thank you as always for sending those in. If you'd like your picture on the telly, you can send it via our Weather Watchers page or send it straight to social media. So out there tomorrow, not only are we going to get plenty of rain, but there is also going to be some thunderstorms to follow just behind that rain, and it's also going to be feeling much fresher too. So we've had temperatures in the mid to high 20s, especially over the weekend. It's very, very hot. Tomorrow will be up to the high teens. So we've got this cold front swooping across the UK, so fresher conditions to follow. This area of low pressure which has been out to the west, that's going to track eastwards through the day tomorrow, bringing that heavy and thundery rain. Much drier days to come on Wednesday and Thursday. Just the chance of a few spots of drizzle, and then there are signs by about midweek, say Thursday really, it will start to warm up again for a few days at least. So there are a few lingering showers. These will clear the coast out to the North Sea through this evening. It's going to be dry for a time with clear spells, but you can see further showers will pull in across northern and western areas by the end of the night. The further east you are, holding on to the best of the dry and clear weather, and our temperatures will fall away to around 10 to 11 degrees, so feeling much fresher into tomorrow morning, far more comfortable for sleeping. So your next high waters, we've got Scarborough at 7:47 tomorrow morning, and then Filey at 7:54. So we'll start off mostly dry tomorrow with a little bit of sunshine, but quite quickly it is going to cloud over. Here's that rain I was talking about. Notice the greens. These indicate the heavier burst, and it is going to turn showery just behind these showers, potentially falling heavy and thundery. So if you're out and about tomorrow, definitely take a brolly. We're looking at highs of around 17 to 18 degrees, so widely it's going to be a much fresher day. Good news if you're not a fan of this hot weather. The weather's not been for everybody. And then as we head into Wednesday, it's going to be a much drier day. There'll be variable amounts of cloud, some sunny spells, if anything, just a few spots of drizzle. And as mentioned, notice those temperatures on the rise, so we could be at 26 degrees again on Friday.
About time we had a bit of rain, isn't it, Katerina? As much
so.
as I've enjoyed this sunshine, thank you for that. And I hear you're with us all week.
I am.
Fantastic news. That is it from us. I will be back at 10:30 this evening. I hope you can join me then. Bye-bye for now.